going on, America? I am Graham Allen, and welcome to the newest episode of the Dear America podcast. Is Donald Trump racist? Is the squad the four horsemen or mean girls of Congress? We're going to find out today when David Harris Jr. joins us. Yes, the black man heard around the world, shared on the president's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter handles. He is here in the studio to decide if Donald Trump is in fact a racist. Sit back, buckle up, and welcome to the newest episode of the Dear America podcast.
Hey! I jumped the gun on that one.
But I did it right this time.
Dadgummit, Jake. You would think after a while that we would have this down to a science, but
Let's do a hate on Jake
apparently
now.
the hay is like this mythical unicorn of something. All I want in this life is for a unified hay at the beginning of the podcast.
That's all you
I don't
want.
feel like it's too much. I don't feel like
That's
it's too
it.
much to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest episode of the Dear America podcast. You may notice that there's slightly more bass in the vocals that you may hear today.
It's not me. Don't look at
And
me.
that is because we have how do I introduce you? Let's see. We have the black man seen around the world. the man with
Thank
the
you, Mr.
MAGA
President.
hat posted to the president's Instagram,
Woo-woo.
Facebook page, everywhere. Mr. and Twitter.
And Twitter.
Thank you,
And Twitter.
Don't
It was a
forget.
trifecta.
We have
come on now.
Mr. David Harris Jr.
Slow clap.
joining us on the podcast
Thank you,
today.
thank you.
Thank you so much
Honor
for
to be
coming
here.
out. We have you strategically, though, if I may be so bold. You are, for those not watching on visual but listening through audio, you are a black person.
I've been told. Yeah.
you are a black
Wait,
a
what?
black wait a minute,
What?
not on this show. Anyway, so if you can judge by the title of this episode, we are calling this the Mean Girls of Congress episode of the Dear America podcast in direct response for this the squad, the forming of the squad. So we've got AOC, of course, as if there was any question.
She's
of
like
whether
the
or not-
leader of the Mean Girls.
She is. She's the leader.
feel like.
She
Yeah, yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
The
Leonardo
mean girl.
of the Ninja Turtles. She's Leonardo,
Leonardo.
the leader of the.
Oh, yeah.
You are such a girl.
Well,
are you
use
kidding
a girl.
me? You
Jake,
don't
what's a
know?
girl reference
which,
to that?
which weapon was his?
He was the two swords, the
swords?
katanas
Okay,
or whatever
right.
they were called.
No girl
Really?
reference.
She's the
I'm
Regina George of
I'm
the Mean
only-
Girls.
Jake,
Yes, there you go. The
no,
Regina George of Mean Girls.
Don't try to go past this. Do you, Jake? Do you understand my Ninja Turtle
I
reference?
understand the reference, but I wasn't a huge watcher.
Oh,
Wow.
that
Well,
faded.
the Ninja
Wow.
Turtles were like heroes.
It was the rat.
So
He was the leader.
There are no heroes.
what I'm
in my
saying
book, but
is-
yeah,
There you
she's
go.
the leader.
The rat
Fine.
was.
Okay.
That's why I didn't fit for. I'm like,
Okay,
wait, they were
fine.
They were my
Fine.
heroes growing up.
I
It's
thought,
like, hey,
you know
wanna,
what? I thought this was my show. I really did. I thought
They tell you that, but
I
it's
thought
really
before we
not.
started this that this was my show. Anyway, okay, so it's AOC, it's Ilhan Omar,
Mm-hmm.
Rashid Tlaib, and what's the
Presley.
Ayanna Presley?
And who
Yes.
is she?
I don't know.
They just needed
I-
somebody
They
with
needed
a
a
little
fourth.
darker
They needed
pigment.
a fourth. Yeah,
She
so
came
they
out of
just
nowhere.
added
Like
her.
we need a darker pigment and actually a black woman to be a part of this squad.
I have
because-
never seen her before until all of this stuff happened. So, for those of you who don't know, let's try to catch you up very quickly. And then David is here strategically for cultural reasons, so we don't get shut down.
Like I could say stuff that most white
Exactly.
folks
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
David can say the things that I, as a white guy from Mississippi, would probably get in a lot of trouble for saying. But first, let's make some money. TacPack is the premier monthly subscription box for military, tactical, and Second Amendment enthusiasts. For just $49.95 a month, they ship you at least $100 worth of gear from companies like 511, HexMeg, Mission First Tactical, Armaspect, and America Grip, to name a few. They ship out AR-15 parts, everyday carry tools, knives, cleaning kits, and a mix of other tactical gear and apparel direct to you. Sign up before August 1st to make the deadline for the next pack. They sold out of the June and July packs early, and they will sell out of August just as fast. This pack features 5 items worth a combined value of $115. The centerpiece item is some highly in-demand range eyewear along with some AR parts plus everyday carry and survival items. This one has it all. Go to TacPack.com, and when you use the promo code RANT at checkout, they'll ship you an ABKT folding knife absolutely free. So, if you're into tactical gear from the best companies for half the price, TacPack is for you. Go to TacPack.com and get the August pack today. TacPack.com, offer code RANT. So anyway, to catch you up very quickly, we talked about in the last episode Donald Trump's tweet heard round the world, where basically he said the fake news media would have you believe he told a congresswoman of color to get out of the country. But that's not what happened. He actually says, go back to your country and figure out what they're doing so well and then come back.
Yeah.
And then show us how it's done. You see, if you add that second part, it's not a racist thing. But they're not talking about that. They say Donald Trump said to a congresswoman of color, get out of the country. That's what they're saying.
I call BS.
Yes. David calls BS as any rational person would. But what has happened is, I think, I love him or hate him, I think Donald Trump's a genius. I think that he is a chess player. It may not be the most appropriate at all times, but what it did was exactly what I think Donald Trump thought it would do, and it has radicalized the already radicalized left, and they even are calling themselves the Squad now. I mean, think about that. They have named themselves the Squad.
But if you go back, remember how I told you we were watching it on the news? I almost feel like we're watching like a high school drama.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not politics anymore. Like, it's irritating. I'm tired of waking up and it's like, you did this. Great. What about America?
Yep.
So are moderate Democrats.
Well,
I mean, the
yeah.
party's collapsing, from the inside.
They can't stand
They're
it.
in a civil
they hate
war
it.
in the Democrat
They
Party.
actually hate it. So me and Alyssa just got back from Arizona. And while we were there, the Democrats forced what do they call it? A condemnation vote or whatever it was. They wanted to force a condemnation vote. And if it had passed, it would require Republicans to admit, do you agree with President Trump or do you think he's a racist? Yes or no? Yes or no?
So
Check
ridiculous.
yes or no.
I mean, that's what
High
they were
school.
trying to do.
Yeah,
And the
so ridiculous.
only reason that you would do that is you want to divide the House even more than it's already divided, right? I think that this is all just this ridiculous thing. So, David, I want to ask you point blank, because you have experiences with the president that I don't have. Is the president racist? More specifically, does the president just hate people of color? I'm curious what your thoughts are.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody ever once said that they thought Donald Trump was a racist before he stepped into politics.
Floyd Mayweather
That's
said
true.
that. He sure enough, yeah.
I've been to the White House 3 times now.
You?
Yeah, and the
you,
first
you,
Yeah.
a black
Did they
man,
know
were
you're black?
invited into the White House?
And the first time I was there for the Black Leadership Summit for Turning Point USA.
Get out of here.
And he invited all of us over to the White House.
the president invited multiple black people
there was
into
a
the
few
White House
hundred of us there.
that weren't Super Bowl champions?
No.
Get out.
Not
Are
Lying
you
is
kidding
not
me?
celebrities, not A-list athletes, not.
I feel like a Baptist
Not
preacher. I
actors.
can't believe what I'm hearing. Are you?
That's how racist he is. He invited us all in,
And he calls
wanted
it the
to
White
acknowledge
House,
us.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I'm sure he came up with that as well.
Yeah, well, of course he did. Donald Trump, when the White House was built, was like,
Yep.
you know what? We should call that the White House.
That's a good
Exactly.
meme.
That
That is a
that'd
good
be a good
meme.
meme.
That would be.
The whitest house in the country.
So to give people context, what was the reason why you, along with so many other black people, were invited to the White House? Yeah, just to give them context, why were you there?
Well, I believe President Donald Trump wanted to not only acknowledge and recognize us and our support for him, because we are blasted I mean, so many black Americans that are conservatives, that hold conservative values, that are pro-life, that are pro-capitalism, and come out supporting our president are blasted by black folks.
Yeah.
Somebody, I mean, I had one of my own cousins that I've spent multiple occasions with him and his wife and their kids. When I came out for my support of Donald Trump, it was probably within the first 6 months. He text messaged me, and he says, "When did you start hating black people?"
Oh, wow.
Wow.
My cousin that I've spent a lot of time with.
Right.
It's like, and that's just the light
Your
side.
family.
My family.
Yeah, your real family. Yeah.
I've had a lot of aunts that have stopped following me on my Facebook or Twitter because they so disagree. So there's so many black Americans that deal with so much crap by not just the mainstream media, but by their friends and their family, that when Turning Point USA, huge hat off to Charlie Kirk for putting that on. He put on the first Young Black Leadership Summit, and I was invited to speak there. When Donald Trump heard how many were going to be there, I think there was close to 400 of us there total. He said, "I'd like to invite them to the White House." I believe it was the largest gathering of especially conservative black Americans in one place, and it was in D.C. So he invited us over to speak to us directly and let us get to meet him. So many people got to meet him, shake his hand, get selfies.
Whoa.
I gave him my book.
Are you telling me that the most racist, corrupt president in history touched you? He actually shook a black person's hand? Is that what
Lots.
you're telling me? Lots of black people's hands?
He spent probably
Whoa.
20 minutes after he spoke talking, shaking hands, signing autographs. I showed him a picture of my book that you can get on my site, if I could plug that.
Shameless plug. I'm all about it. Go for it.
DavidHarrisJr.com. Why I couldn't stay silent. I showed him. I gave him the copy, and he said, "Whoa!" He said, "Take a picture." It's like he wanted to take a picture with my book.
Yeah.
And just, it's all about why I support the president, why I never voted for Obama, what the mainstream media is to me. They're like the new KKK. I go over a lot of stuff in the book that's waking people up and why I'm pro-life.
Let's say this really quick. Let's go ahead and let's reinforce the actual definition of racism just for a moment, okay? Off of what David just said, by definition of racism, Donald Trump is not it. Okay?
Yep.
If you are a racist, straight up real racist, you hate people based on the color of their skin. You don't hang out with some because they're popular. You don't
not popular.
Invite them to your
not
house.
Even popular.
But that's what I'm saying. But you don't. You don't. If they got enough money, you'll rub elbows with them. No, you hate them.
Yeah.
You do not associate. You do not talk about. You don't do anything. You especially don't invite them into your house. Which I don't know if you know this, people. It's not very easy to get to the White House.
No.
That's not a place that you just show up at all the time, especially to get invited outside of the normal touristy rooms that they let people go to that you have to pay money for. Donald Trump is inviting people of color, minorities, etc., in there because Donald Trump is not a president of division. He's a president of America. And
Yes.
unfortunately, what is happening with
Preacher.
the squad is these people, and me and David looked at this. We were actually analyzing their... What news outlet was it that they were on? Was it CBS? Anyway, they come out there and AOC says something that me and David picked up on that a lot of people aren't reporting on. You
picked up on it. I didn't even catch it. You caught it.
Well, let me tip my hat there a little bit.
caught it,
I
brother.
caught it. She goes on, and it's a 5.5 minute video, and it shows Presley, Tlaib, Omar, and then AOC all giving their little things. And in it, AOC says, "We will not stop in our agenda."
Yep.
And they won't catch us slipping. That's what she
Right.
says. They ain't
Yep,
gonna
that's
catch
exactly
us
right.
slipping. That's what she says.
Homies.
But homies
Ain't catching us slipping.
anyway, but that to me was the ultimate thing about all of this.
Giveaway.
Their
Yep.
agenda. Okay, people that love America, people that support America, people that want America to flourish, do not have their
own agenda.
agendas.
Right.
Okay. Donald Trump's agenda since he ran was make America great again. America first. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not
Love it.
my agenda. It's not this.
If you're an American, it should be your agenda. It's our agenda.
To protect
it's America's
America.
agenda.
So I saw a meme about, and they had the differences of the squads. And it had the founding fathers meeting in the room to sign the Declaration of Independence. And then it had the squad right next to it. And so it brings me to this point where you have to think about these things. You have to think about the differences in thinking and the differences of moments here. Okay. On the left side, the founding fathers. Okay, the people that were literally sitting in a room who were deciding to sign a document, a Declaration of Independence, knowing that if they didn't win and if they weren't successful, they were signing their own death warrants.
Yeah.
Okay. Once they won, okay, they did the exact opposite of anyone else in history. They could have been kings.
Yep.
They could have
just took over.
been dictators. They could have literally replicated what they broke away from because now they have the power.
Yep.
But instead, what they chose to do is a sacrificial, selfless act, actually, and give the power back to the people. Okay? What the squad is wanting to do, no matter what they say, no matter what they try to make you feel, they're like, oh, we're for you. We believe in everyone. Everyone should be able to do this. What they actually want to do is give more power to the government, and we're going to take care of you. We're going to give you health care. We're going to pay your bills for you. We're going to feed you.
And it's never
then
worked.
When you piss us off, we're
Yeah.
going to hold it all back.
Yep.
Well, why
Yeah.
do they want illegals to be able to vote? They know they're going to get all their votes. They'll be in power for years.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. You have to pay attention to what is happening and the whole breakdown of this stuff. These people, these anti-American, anti-Semitic, just democracy bashing women. Okay, it's not because you're women of color. It's not.
No.
You just happen to be women of color that are morons and hate America, and everything coming out of your mouth is anti-American rhetoric, just lunacy. And real people, cognitive, just self-thinking people are going, no, you're an idiot. That's why.
Hopefully.
You just happen to be of color and a woman. That's all
Yeah.
it is. You know, it has nothing to do with that. You just happen to be it. It's like that chick that got mad about Chick-fil-A. She decided to post
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A just accepted gay money. There's no such thing as gay money.
No.
You just got money and you happen to be gay. You
Yeah.
know, and so I don't know. Jake, what do you think?
I totally agree.
Well, even the Democrats are like Nancy Pelosi came out and was like, "Wait a minute, whoa, like this isn't okay." And then she's racist, so you know it's just their card they pull.
There is a
You
don't
civil
agree with
war
us, then you're
going
racist,
on
and
in the
you're gonna
Democrat
attack your
Party right
character.
now. They are breaking down.
Yeah, and what's
attacking each
weird
other.
is that's what Trump was initially. He was racist, and all this racist stuff happened, and then just disappeared. And now all of a sudden again,
He's back racist.
He's back racist again. Ooh,
I think we need to have a reformulating of the entire Congress, the House, any elected position. Okay, go with me here, and Lord, give me the strength to say it the right way so we don't get shut down. All right. So to be an elected official in Congress and the White House in general and the states, I mean, whatever it is, question number one. Do you love America?
Yeah.
There's no asterisks around that. There's no, do you love America-ish?
Yeah,
do
where
you
does
love
America rank?
Kinda. Do you love America? What that should be why you were going after this.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know, do you love America? If you have to go, nope,
Well,
gone.
why else would you do it?
I guarantee
Because you want power,
Money.
money.
I guarantee they didn't ask AOC that when she answered that casting call.
Yeah, exactly.
From being a bartender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That
that's
wasn't a
right.
question that they
No,
asked
no,
her.
of course it's not. Well, anyway, also, I think that if
Or
you
Rashid Tlaib, for that matter.
Oh, you know she didn't. But either
Goodness.
way, go with me here. If you become an elected official, congressman, senator, governor, state representative, the president of the United States, Obama, anyway, every day when you step foot through the door of wherever your office is, you should be forced or expected to recite the Pledge of Allegiance every single day. Well, I'm not pledging allegiance to
Love
anything. This is not a dictatorship. Well, then you're not an American and get out. Sorry, it's true. If you have a problem with these things, you are not American. You may legally be an American, which good for you, great. You benefit from the greatest country in the world, but your heart and your morality, you are not an American, and I'm sick of it. Get out.
Well, and
pledge allegiance to the flag
Yeah.
But that was
of
the
the
point.
United States of America.
That was the point that
And to the
President-
Republic.
And to the Republic.
For
I bet
which
you
it
if the,
stands.
I bet
But
you if the
One
prerequisite
nation under
was
God.
Oh my
just
God, Graham.
for them to recite the pledge.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, can you even recite the
Do
Pledge
you
of
know
Allegiance?
the Pledge of Allegiance?
But that's what I think President Trump was trying to say, and they took it all out of context. You don't love America, then go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, because they were women of color, now we have something to run with.
And this is the only country you can do all that stuff.
Exactly.
You know, all other countries, they don't put up with that stuff
No.
either.
Oh my gosh, they would be in jail.
It's like putting
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the
Or
Mexican
worse,
flag up here.
actually.
Let's put the American
Well,
flag up in Mexico.
Also,
you know?
go to any other country and speak to the leader of that country the way that people
Yeah.
speak to the
Oh,
leader
so
of our
true.
country.
Oh, wow.
And see
Be
if you
bad.
make it home.
No, I don't
again.
think so.
So they
Especially
hold
the socialist countries that they're
that they want
us to become.
Oh, yeah. That's the point. People, what we're seeing now is a direct, with every action, there's an opposite
Reaction.
but equal reaction, right?
Chain reaction.
So we are just a blessed country, a dominant country, a powerful country, and it is breeding the snowflake-driven, safe space needing,
Snotty little brats.
snotty little brats.
Yep.
And they're trying to ungrateful.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar is an ungrateful
Oh, yeah.
piece of garbage. Sorry, has
That's PG.
nothing to do with her being a woman.
Nope.
Has nothing to do with her being a woman of color.
Nope.
You're just sorry. Because you were ungrateful. You came from Somalia, I believe it was. Don't quote me. In 1992, you went somewhere else. I can't remember the second place. You retreated from Somalia in 92, and then around 14 years old, I believe you ended up in Minnesota. Isn't that where she's from?
I think so.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
So at 14 years old, you go to Minnesota, you go to high school in America, and then 12, 14 years later, now you're a congresswoman. And you would think that the USA has just crapped on her entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is absolute insanity what's going on. And I don't get it. I don't understand, especially when you have...
I think she's got a hidden agenda.
There you
like
go.
I believe
Preach it.
our
Preach it.
last president had a hidden agenda that is to break a country down from within. I mean, if we can go there, I definitely believe that there is an invasion that is trying to get into our country.
We're in a spiritual war under the veil of politics.
Whenever
Yeah.
she said something, some people did something, she was at a CARE event.
Yeah.
Just look more into CARE if you don't know what that is.
You guys talk about radical Islam on here?
Go for it.
Yeah, go.
Radical Islam is one of the biggest threats to the world. They want to infiltrate. They come in under the guise of assimilation. They never do, or at least honoring the Constitution and the Quran don't even mix.
No.
And in the Quran, they're actually taught that they can say whatever they need to say and
Taqiyya.
lie in order to stay in good with the infidels,
Right.
basically. And it teaches them to get into power. And if you look at some of these other countries around the world where they slowly migrated in, and then they would increase in their numbers, and then when they had a certain percentage, then they would get in their politics, and then when they had political positions of power, they would begin to then force their way, which is
agenda.
Sharia.
Yeah.
And Sharia it doesn't coincide with the Constitution.
Yeah.
And that is happening. That is, I think, the other spiritual driving force behind these women, especially Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar.
Did y'all see that the Reverend Patrick Conroy, that was one of the things I want to talk about since we're talking about spiritual warfare, said a prayer, told members of Congress it's been a difficult and contentious week in which darker spirits seem to have been at play in the people's house.
Wow.
And when he said a prayer, they said it sounded more like an exorcism as he was praying than his normal prayers because he felt like a spiritual darkness. And I was like, wow, that is interesting.
That's
Since
crazy.
we had talked about that, it's
Whoever,
It is a spiritual battle, for sure.
whoever was the elected official who was overseeing and forgive me, I'm not a congressman. I don't know the exact terms, but they were having the initial like to the floor of should they force a condemnation vote on what the president said. And whoever the leader of it was, for the first time in a very long time, they have the right to do this, literally put the gavel down and just walked out.
I saw that.
Wow.
Said this is not what you're trying to do. It's not something that benefits anyone. He basically said this is some kind of sick high school game.
Wow.
And I choose to leave the floor. And he
Good for
like
him.
put the thing down. So let's play a quick game real quick. But first, all of us here at Dear America Podcast believe in the Constitution and respect the Second Amendment. There's a lot of holster brands to choose from. Some are good, some not so good. But what does your holster say about you? Mine has my face on it now, but I digress. Starting at just $37, We the People holsters are custom made right here in America. Their designs are updated monthly in-house, which means they don't use third-party molds. They even have their own 3D design team who measures every micromillimeter of their guns to ensure perfect fit, much like having your face on your gun holster. Their unique and intuitive clip designs allows for you to easily adjust both the cant and ride of your holster so that it will fit comfortably and securely at all times. Go to wethepeopleholster.com/Graham and get yours today. Every holster ships free and comes with a lifetime guarantee, but that's not all. Enter the offer code Graham and receive an additional $10 off your order. Support your country, defend the Constitution, and support a great American business. Satisfaction is guaranteed. wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham, offer code Graham. Let's play Is It Racist or Offensive?
Oh, no.
And then
It should be fun.
Then let's figure out if Donald Trump said it or if someone else did.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm ready. I like games.
Hope we get it
All right, here we
I
go.
know. I hope I win.
Hope I win.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Blacks who aren't Democrats don't matter. Is that racist or offensive?
Okay, take it to the black man. Take it to the black man.
Don't matter.
Don't matter. Blacks who aren't Democrats
I
don't
still
matter.
feel like I'm missing some context as far as
Right.
what they were talking about. Matter about what?
You just
'Cause
don't matter.
It would
Context.
appear in that context that they
Right.
don't.
If
Their
they don't matter
opinions
at
do not
all.
matter. That's what
See,
I would think.
If it's the opinion that doesn't matter at all,
I think,
I'd say that's
I think
racist.
I think it's opinion. I don't think it. I don't think that that's a. What I get initially from that quote is blacks who aren't Democrats don't matter. I would say that's opinion. Your opinion doesn't matter if you're black and you're not a Democrat.
yeah, that's
That's
racist.
That's
And
racist.
probably
So
a
that's-
black person probably said it.
So that's racist. Okay, which brings me
Democrat.
to my next
Black
thing.
Democrat.
So that was said by one of the four members of the squad, Ayanna Presley.
yeah, that's the
Oh,
black
there
girl.
the
she
black
is.
girl.
I'm
Okay.
going with her.
Coming out of
Race card.
nowhere.
Now,
When Democrats push when black Democrats push the race card and try to separate black Republicans and say they're not even black, it's one of the most despicable and disturbing things that a human being could do. It's so disgusting.
let me ask you another question, David. So what if President Trump had been the one that said that?
I can't
what
see
would have
him
happened?
saying. Oh,
But-
I can't
what
see
I'm
him
saying
saying
is,
that, but he
what-
would. Oh, it would be.
The world would
that'd
be burned
I was
down.
gonna say, yeah, he would have been.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Roasted.
So I'm going to ask
That'd be
you,
like him saying blacks that aren't Republicans don't matter. I
Yeah.
can't see him saying that.
No,
but
he
if
wouldn't.
he said that in the context of the vote, then I could understand why he
Right.
would say that. It doesn't matter. They're not going to vote for him anyway. But if I can't see him saying that in the context of they don't matter, like their opinion doesn't matter, or he's not trying to divide races as far as
I want to ask you the same
Right.
question I asked Candace Owens. If a statement is said and you change the color of the person that said it and it makes it racist or not, wasn't it racist to begin with anyway?
yeah.
So that's where we seem to be right now is a way that I've always felt as a white male is I've always felt, I mean, I don't care, but I've always felt that black people are allowed to say things that I'm not allowed to say. You know,
They are.
They're allowed
They
to.
think they are. I
They're
mean, I don't know
allowed
why
to
they-
say cracker. They're allowed to say all these.
Yeah, they call each other the
America
N-word.
with the 3 Ks. They say the N word all the time.
Yeah.
We played a funny little game. Me and another buddy of mine. His name's Smiley. His last name's Smiley. Military buddy. And we played this game, a funny video of if a black guy puts a rap song on and everybody's feeling it. Is the white guy allowed to say all the lyrics in the song?
No, the answer is no.
But the thing is,
The
but see,
politically correct is no. I don't
But
think
if
that
it's-
black folks should be saying it in the first
Exactly.
place.
That's the
Neither
point.
do I.
That's the
Period.
point.
But that is the societal thing that people really don't talk about much as well. If it's so freely said and it's music that you purchased to pay for somebody else's career and they're saying this type of stuff like that, but you can't say it as a white person, well then wasn't it racist and shouldn't have been said in the first
Yeah.
place?
Well, think
Right.
about it like this: those black artists are making money off of. They know white folks are buying the CDs, they're buying the music, and singing along with it.
Yeah.
So how can they then get upset that like I forget who it was? He pulled a gal on stage. A black rapper pulled this white girl on stage. She starts rapping the song, and the N-word's in the song. And
Yeah.
as soon as she said it, he kicked her off the stage and had a fit.
Oh, wow.
It's
I never heard that.
I mean, it's a victim mentality mindset, and that's what these politicians are feeding into, trying to keep
I would be
black
so
folks
frustrated if I was you, though. The
voting
whole
Democrat.
dividing
Yep.
the race,
Yeah.
that irritates me. Like, why would you even go there? Like, you can't, that's your cult. Like, doesn't even make sense.
They're the real sellouts. They're selling out their own race.
There it was.
They're selling out their own race for power and control.
And control.
Which, again, that's one of the things I talk about in my book. I think the mainstream media and even politicians are more like the KKK of today than anything. The KKK wanted to dominate, manipulate, and control. That's all they wanted to do. What are these Democrat politicians wanted to do? Dominate, manipulate, and control. And anybody that gets in their way, they're racist or they don't matter.
You tell
Yeah,
me.
your guess,
You
good.
tell me God's
That's
not
good.
in control of conversations. What you just said leads me to my next statement. Is it offensive, and who said it? Are you ready?
Yep.
Ready.
ICE is the KKK.
Oh, that sounds like AOC.
That's definitely
And yeah, it's
AOC.
racist because ICE is comprised of a whole lot of people, different
I was
nationalities.
going to say, they're
Isn't it
Different
like
races.
given what-
75% Hispanic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
given
Yeah,
everything you've just said, not knowing I was going to bring that up about the KKK, isn't that a complete and blatant, just disrespectful, offensive, degrading thing to say about an organization and a
Yeah.
group of people?
Absolutely. It's disgusting, and it's exactly what they do. They'll play the race card. They'll try to manipulate, dominate, and control by any means necessary, even if that's demonizing and vilifying the other people.
But I feel like that's all they do. That's all they have. And I've said that before. I feel like because President Trump is doing good, they just they attack morally. Oh, well, you're this or you're that.
These are the people that stand on a high moral ground that they are superior
think they do.
in morality to the president. Let's go to my favorite one of the 4 horsemen.
AOC.
Oh,
Ian Omar.
the 4 horsemen of the
We
apocalypse.
caught it, but
Anyway, okay,
That's
all right.
good.
I caught it. But
The
who is
four
it?
All right,
horse-
Who's your favorite?
Let's go to Omar.
Omar.
Let's just look at some of the things
Ah, you got
Omar
it.
has said. So all of this has spawned from Donald Trump saying, go back to your country, learn from them of what they're doing right, then come back here and show us how it's done.
Yeah.
All right. That's what he said, that everybody is. So these are some of the things that Ilhan Omar has said. She says Jews run the world through mind control. Then it's all
Wow.
about the Benjamins. ISIS ISIS terrorists should get light sentences.
She
Wow.
actually even lobbied. She sent a letter to the judge to try to get those 9 ISIS guys who were being recruited by ISIS a lighter sentence.
Wow.
She supports designated terrorist organizations like Hamas and CARE. Is it CARE or CAR?
It's CARE.
CARE.
Okay.
For both.
Arm of the Islamic Brotherhood.
She also is famous for saying that 9/11 terrorists are where some people did something.
Yeah.
So disrespectful.
There's documented videos of her laughing about Americans' fear of Al Qaeda. All right, long video, like 8-9 minutes of them laughing about the fear that American has. They laugh at how Americans pronounce Al Qaeda. And to this day, every single one of the of the squad, the horsemen, the mean girls of Congress, whatever you want to call them, every single one of them to this day has refused to condemn the actions of Al-Qaeda. Every single one of them.
Crazy.
So these people.
She refused to even acknowledge or condemn Hamas.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So these people are the ones who are holding press conferences trying to tell you that Donald Trump is racist. Oh, by the way, while they're holding press conferences, not doing their job, Donald Trump is too busy doing his job, holding rallies for his next election, of which a record 20,000 plus people show up.
No big deal.
Yeah.
A few days
What's
after all of this stuff, and
That's what's really happening.
they begin to chant, "Send her back."
Yeah.
Now, I would like to open this up to the floor. So we're going to put this hashtag Dear America question. Now, this wasn't Donald Trump that did this. Donald Trump didn't start the chant. And I want to go all the way around the table. David, you're the guest, so we'll let you go first. Hashtag Dear America. Do you think "Send her back" chant was too far, even for the American people? David, what do you think?
I don't think so. I think that it's a whole bunch of patriots that understand everything that you just said, that have heard her vilify our country and the Jewish people, and even have heard, I think a lot of people have heard her talk about when she was in that interview and she was talking about people don't talk about, the military with like honor and respect like they do Hamas and Al-Qaeda. She's totally demeaning. So I think that she came over here to a country that did well by her and to her, and she's slapping us in our faces. So, hey, if you don't like it here, send her back.
Alyssa?
I'm kind of the same way, and I usually go the other way because I love most people. But if you don't,
You're talking about my country now,
but yeah,
girl.
like
You better watch out.
It's true. Like, I love America so much, and if you're gonna sit there and almost spit in the face of it, if you truly don't like it, then I agree. Go back.
Jake, what do you think?
Well, I think you can, without context, you can take that chant and it sounds pretty racist. But what if they were saying like, "Send her on her way," send her back? Like, if she wants to go back, go. I don't think they were saying kick her out of the country. I think it was more of like,
That's a good point.
Send her on back to where she came from to go fix, Ethiopia or wherever it is.
I think it was a bad choice of words. I think most logical thinking Americans know what they meant. I think they should have said "let her leave."
Yeah.
Let her
I
leave,
think
yeah.
"let her leave"
That would have been good.
would have alleviated a lot of it. I think the president has been very smart to distance himself from that. In fact, he's even come on and said that he didn't like it and he didn't agree with it, which was very smart for the president to say. However, I think that they should have said "let her leave," of which I completely agree. Let her leave.
It's
Get out.
And see how quickly she comes
It's not
back.
as powerful of a chant, though.
Exactly. But
Doesn't really do it. Let her leave.
doesn't quite have the
Factor.
Be
behind
very
it.
kind.
Be
Well,
very
the president
kind.
did come out and say that. He came out and said he didn't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, he came out in a press conference and
Well,
said
he-
that he didn't
he-
like it.
he-
Well, what they
it's
asked
good
was
for
they
him to
said, "Why
distance
didn't
himself
you
from him."
stop it?" And he said, "Well, I did stop it. I started talking very quickly."
Yeah.
That's true.
I started talking very quickly to shut it off. Anyway, enough about the four horsemen, mean girls
Of
the
the
apocalypse.
squad of apocalypse of the Congress. Moving on, Alyssa, give us a funny thing. What's going on?
Well, I am good at that. So, all right. So here's my funny criminal of
Brace
the,
yourself,
of the
David.
week. This one's kind of cheesy. Sorry.
Oh God!
But listen. Okay, thieves.
Ladies love her stories.
They're
though, so-
funny.
Okay, all right, go.
Okay, this
We're
is in
listening.
Texas, so I had to do a Texas one since we're here now.
A Texas
Thieves in Texas had the idea to steal a baby shark from the San Antonio Aquarium, and they actually did. 3 crooks made their way to an open air tank, wrapped the baby shark in a towel, put it in a stroller, and proceeded to simply leave the premises without being noticed.
My God.
I know.
Only in Texas.
Just
Good
so you
tactic.
know, the police found him an hour later, and the shark was okay.
Well, speaking of baby sharks, did you hear about West Palm Beach?
No.
So they have a homeless problem in West Palm Beach.
Oh, God.
And they're playing Baby Shark over loudspeakers. I thought that was pretty genius.
Okay.
Like, get them out of here. Send them back.
So,
Let them leave.
Let them leave, Baby Shark.
all right.
I'd leave.
So I've got one. If you have not seen this movie, me and Jake went to go see this movie called Crawl.
You
And-
went without me?
Yeah. You didn't. You don't even know what
sat
this
in the
movie.
back.
You don't even know what the movie's
I don't.
about.
I don't.
Anyway, all right. So the movie Crawl. If you've ever seen the movie Deep Blue Sea, you
Yes.
remember that
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that with alligators.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's kind of the same premise, but with alligators.
I love deep blue sea.
So on that note, Tennessee police warn residents to not flush drugs down the toilet for fear of creating meth gators.
Oh, I saw that.
God.
Oh my God.
That'd be kind of scary,
That
though.
would be
Dude,
scary. Some
gator
cracked
on
up
meth?
I think
gators.
about that. Just,
They won't stop.
all right, hold
They
on.
won't.
I'm not done. Okay.
No, you need
There's
like
more.
you need weed gators because then they'd be like,
Oh, that would be
like
good.
flush
Yeah,
the weed.
Flush the brownies
Hey.
People on meth will like rip the door off the car.
I know. So meth
To
gators.
steal the radio. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
That's
so,
scary.
yeah, meth gators. All right. So
They'll actually break your window just to get your sunglasses.
Yeah.
I'm
You're-
proof of that.
with their, really?
I had a bad
Yeah, in
experience.
Redding.
You had a meth attack?
Well, in Reading, yeah, it happened to actually my wife's car and my car. Yeah,
He got
they
both
threw-
of them.
they
He got
threw
both
different
of them.
nights.
Oh, wow. He
But
came back.
did-
You were
yeah,
marked.
well,
you
it's
had a
just-
serial
yeah.
meth
It's because you were black.
invader.
It probably was. Yeah,
Aw.
Plus the Democrat would say
Damn.
that. Some white meth heads again.
Bad gummit.
All right. Speaking of animals, Denver 7 News official account.
Ew.
All right. The report. Americans, this is very serious, ladies and gentlemen. Americans will need to limit beef consumption to a hamburger and a half each week in order for the world to continue to feed 10 billion people expected to live on this planet in 2050.
Well, I can't
Wow.
do that.
Well, I
I'm
just had
sorry.
a double cheeseburger.
We just had a
5
double
minutes
cheese.
ago.
I just killed that right there. I'm
Oops.
already over
My
a
bad.
week. A week, a burger and a half a week.
By 2050, they'll be growing hamburger meat in a lab
I was gonna say from a
and,
tree somehow.
and selling it to us as real.
We're
Probably.
already not eating like 100% real beef burgers anyway.
That's true.
True.
Right.
So what?
Gotta get that
what-
98%.
What does it matter at this point? Okay, Jake, you got any funny? You don't have any funny
I do.
stories. Oh, Alyssa does.
It's not a funny
I
story.
didn't have time to prep today. We had a busy
the
day.
producer
That's true.
didn't have time.
Poor
I'm just
Jake.
kidding,
He's so
Jake.
busy.
I'm kidding.
Okay, I got a debate though. Okay.
Oh.
This is going to cause some problems, and I apologize ahead of time. But the Washington Post did an article, and it said what the Republican and Democratic parties can learn from The Bachelorette.
No.
Oh, no, I'm
said
going
that?
there.
Who said
It's the
that?
Washington Post.
Oh, figures.
But wait for it.
WAPO.
So they say that Luke P is like Donald Trump. And
What?
Makes sense.
Okay, so they
I'm out
say
of the
he's
loop,
like
so I don't know who
President
that
Trump.
is.
We'll tell you. Just
Oh,
wait.
just wait. So basically, the only reason they voted for Luke was because he was kind of a bully and he made media about him. That was his strategy.
Great looking. He's a
Great
genius.
looking.
Very attractive man.
So it was clear to everyone else that both men were intentionally or not gaining an advantage by controlling the all-important flow of information within the context. Anyway, so thoughts on this. Trump often focused, it said on here, by making himself racist, sexist, or otherwise controversial, and so did Luke P.
Wow.
They know it's not real, right?
They do. It's not real. Well, that's ridiculous, and I don't doubt it. But I'm glad you brought that up.
You're welcome.
Because David, and I'm going to try to catch you up here, okay?
Thank you,
But it's going to bring me to a very specific point. I think this is a really good way to end it out. This episode. So tonight, by the time this episode airs, it'll be time for the Bachelorette again, where she's going to pick the
No,
final
I think it's
two.
Men Tell All. Isn't it Men Tell All?
No,
have
that's
no
next.
idea.
It's the final two, then
All right.
Men Tell All, then the last one. Okay. So by the time you're listening to this, the Bachelorette is getting ready to come on tonight. So in the last episode, David, are you familiar at all with the Bachelor and Bachelorette?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have two daughters,
All right.
but they're out of the house.
They
now,
are
so-
last week was the
The
suites.
moment where
The fantasy
Hannah
suites.
let
Okay.
Luke
where,
P
where they
go.
get the opportunity to have sex with each other, pretty much. I mean, that's what the fantasy suites are.
America.
You can stay overnight. And so Luke P, the one that Alyssa just brought up there, this is a very, very big deal. And I want to bring this up because to me, it screams this weird culture that we're in now. So Luke P was the final date of the week, okay? And so she's already been with the other three guys. All right. Lord only knows what happens. They don't show.
They had sex
you know.
twice in a windmill. That's
Well,
what
she
said.
says that
They did.
after you're spoiling it. Wait
Goodness
just a minute.
gracious.
Well, get to
Anyway.
the point.
All right. So Luke P, on his date, before they decide if they want to go to the fantasy suite with each other or not, he asked her point blank. He said, with my personal convictions, before I was saved, I had sex all the time and all this stuff, but I have been celibate since I was born again. And so, if we go to the fantasy, he basically is telling her, if we go to the fantasy suite tonight, I'm not going to have sex with you because I don't believe in that anymore. And then he proceeds to say, and to be honest, if you were to tell me that you've had sex with some of the other men here, then I would walk away from this relationship.
He said he would want to leave.
He would want to leave.
Okay.
He didn't say he would.
Excuse me, that he would want to walk away from the relationship.
Yeah.
This chick,
She went Alabama
she
crazy.
went Alabama.
She thought she was going to get her some.
psycho
Okay, but Graham's
crazy.
not telling
She
it
thought she was
also.
gonna get her
Luke P has
some.
not had the best reputation on The Bachelorette. He's been manipulative and caused some problems himself. Okay, so I haven't been
This
a fan
is not
of
about
him.
Luke P. You're missing the point. This ain't about Luke P.
I think it's about Luke P.
It's about
The
Hannah.
culture.
It's about Hannah. Hannah proceeds to say that she is a Christian.
Oh,
All
interesting.
right.
She's claimed that the whole time.
And that no man is going to tell her what she can do with her body. And that she has had sex. She's going to continue to have sex. And Jesus still loves her. And her husband would never say something like that to me. And she
Wow.
goes on this tirade. Like
I don't know what kind of church
she
she
went
goes
on
to.
a
she starts
women's-
berating this dude, flipping him
Wow.
off. I mean, basically saying what a prick he is to dare stand on a pedestal and judge her like that. And then she goes on to say, and yeah, I have had sex. We had sex twice in a windmill.
to his face.
To his face, blah,
With one of the
blah,
other
blah.
contestants.
And
Did he
Jesus,
walk away?
And Jesus
Well, she
still
said
loves
go.
me. Now, for everyone listening at home, the answer to that is yes, Jesus still loves you. Okay, we all make mistakes. We're all really, really dumb, really, really stupid. However, there is something to be said about personal accountability, right? As a Christian,
Absolutely, as a Christian.
you're going to mess up, yes, of course. But as a Christian, you should not care. You should not care
Right.
if you mess up all the time or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you struggle with having sex out of marriage, okay, Jesus still loves you, and you can ask for forgiveness and all that stuff, and you can even be, I do believe in born again versions as well. People that find Jesus and whatnot, and then they save themselves till marriage. But to say that Jesus loves you, so I'm just gonna bang whoever I want to bang whenever I want to
She
bang.
was
them
using it as
all
a
the
calling
time.
card to be able to do what she wanted, and he made her feel guilty, which is why she.
But
She made herself
turns
feel
it
guilty.
into,
Yes.
David, this woman moment. She
It was.
turns it into
But what's
ain't
sad is
no
that
man gonna
when
control
you,
me.
But when you go through like social media, like everyone was like,
You
yeah,
go, girl. You
get
tell
her.
that
You
man
tell
that
her.
You know
he
what this-
can't tell
and I'm
you
like,
what to
no.
do.
You know what it makes me think of?
What?
If I can go there, and I'm going to.
Go.
Do it. This is Dear America podcast.
Is that there's the part in Scripture that says many will come and say, I did this in your name, I did that in your name, I did this in your name, and he's going to say, depart from
Depart
me.
from me. I didn't
Yep.
know you.
I never knew you.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's a lack of intimacy
Oh.
with the Papa Heart of God that is missing
Mm-hmm.
largely in the body, in the church today, in churches today, where it's not church on Sunday and then live however you want to throughout the week and you still think you're a Christian. Because if you don't know him, when you know him and you love him, then you want to walk
With him.
with him.
And that changes you.
And that changes you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of
To me,
the problem with a lot of people in the church.
To me, the problem is less the show, because obviously we watch the show. I love to watch the carnage of this show because I just find it's like going to Walmart or a flea market. Just the people watching is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. That's how
It's well made.
That's how I feel about Jake ruins it for everybody. He's like, oh yeah, that's so random that those people in Greece
mic'd
just
up.
randomly had microphones on them to do this interview, kind of stuff. But anyway, but I watch it for the carnage just because it's just great TV. But I know that's not real. Like that's not real what's going on there. What shocks me today is going on Twitter as soon as the episode's over and over.
Nice.
Gnarly, dude. Anyway.
Nice.
All right. So
California.
as soon as the episode is over, that was better. People getting on this Hannah train, like she had just united the female population.
That's the feminist spirit of today.
I mean,
against the male patriarchy.
Anti-man.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Anti-morality.
Despite
anti-God.
despite all the garbage that Luke P had done during that season, at that moment right there, if you are really, you may not have a problem with having sex before marriage. I'm not one to look down on people for that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you really know you're not supposed to do that. Do you know what I mean? Before, just like drinking too much. I mean, we all really know we're not supposed to really do that. Kind of thing. Some people do it. Some people are convicted not to do it. But deep down, we all really know that, you're not supposed to sleep with every single person that you meet, right? I mean, that's just not what you're supposed to.
You'd hope you had more personal respect for yourself.
Right.
Than that.
But in that moment, despite all of Luke P's other flaws throughout the show, in that moment, he actually said and stood up for something that we've lost in our society. Hey, if I'm interested in you and we're going to date, we're going to get married, we ain't doing this until we get to that level of commitment with each other,
Good
right?
for him.
And that's something that we've lost as a society.
Well, that's true.
Is we've lost that. Hashtag Dear America. Let us know what you think. Is Luke P a D-bag, or in that moment did Luke P
In that
actually
moment.
stand up for what a real man in a relationship is supposed to actually stand up for and supposed to do, right?
Again, in that moment.
In that moment.
In
The
that moment.
question
But
is
she
not,
showed her true colors.
Because I guess it doesn't sound too good when
She
he's
did.
he's pulling that, but then you guys said he's got a bunch of other shenanigans throughout the.
Yeah, I don't know
a
his
bunch of other
intentions, and
stuff.
they
It's
could.
like,
Jake said, they
goodness
could
gracious.
twist it.
I'm on the
so.
Luke P team.
Jake's been pro
Luke from the
day
beginning.
one.
He has been cornered, bullied,
He's
lied
a chess
about.
player. Okay, at the
And
end of the day,
he plays the game
Bachelorette.
well.
The lady at the table is speaking from the lady perspective of it. Okay.
Right.
At the end of the day, the Bachelorette it's a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who can be left standing at the
But
end?
some have made
To
it and
try
are
to
still
get-
married.
True.
saying.
Correct.
Two or three of them.
I'm not saying
Out
that
of
it
100?
doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much.
100.
But Luke P played the game. He
Yeah.
played the game. He with the dudes, not with her so much, but with the other guys. It's like, oh yeah, no man, I won't say anything. And then the second he gets with Hannah, he says everything. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like it's a game.
Part of the reason I
trying-
don't watch it sounds like a whole bunch of drama.
Oh,
No,
it
it
is. But
is.
that's why I
Goodness
watch it,
gracious.
because I'm just like, man,
We just
they
make fun of
out
it.
with everybody for real, like for real. Like
Wow.
you, when you kiss her,
All right, go
you're
on.
kissing
Move on, Graham.
everything, everybody, and everything.
Wow.
Anyway, hashtag Dear America. Let us know what you think. Is chivalry dead? Or is chivalry just in a stranglehold of modern day feminism? Well, let us know what you think. It seems to be in the culture today that when you try to stand up and be what we actually know we're supposed to be as chivalrous men, that the modern day feminists will look at that as how dare you,
Well, you can always pay for my meal, baby.
sweetheart.
That's good.
I've been paying for your meals for 10 plus years.
And I appreciate
And
that.
I will do it for 50
Evermore.
more. Yeah. If
Nice.
hopefully,
Nice.
knock on wood, I live that long.
I hope so.
Anyway, David, man, thank you so much for joining
Yeah, it
us
was fun having
on
you.
Absolutely.
this episode of
I
the
had-
Dear America podcast.
I had one more example
Do
of
it.
how
Oh, do
Donald
it.
Trump is not a racist.
Yeah.
Oh,
Full
close it
circle.
out.
Example.
Okay, do
Closing
it.
it out.
He shared my video
Yep.
on his Instagram.
Yeah,
That's true.
I know.
Twitter
That's what I'm saying.
and Facebook
The black man seen
last
around the
week.
world. That's what I'm trying. That's what I
Yeah.
introduced you as.
And you're
Yeah.
right, though. He wouldn't have done that.
You could see
If
that
he was-
at David J. Harris Jr. All my handles are David J.
Well,
Harris Jr.
That's perfect. We were fixing to do handles.
You know what Sharpton says? It's a photo op. Like when they had all the black people at the White House, he's trying to
Sharpton.
prove.
You're
It's
the
all Sharpton
president's
knows.
token compared to
Yeah.
Al Sharpton.
Oh, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
bet it
Sharpton
will.
does is do photo ops.
All right, ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Last episode was our highest downloaded episode to date. We've been soaring in the charts. Thank you guys so much. If you're listening to this right now, please hit subscribe, give us 5 stars, and just tell one friend about the Dear America podcast.
Oh, and Graham, what's the big news this week?
Oh, you're right. Jake, the producer, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy to announce, David, you're the first to hear this too.
Drum roll.
Everything has been so amazing with this podcast. It has blown up in ways we never would have imagined. And because of the demand and the success, we are going to 2 Dear America podcast episodes a week, starting right now. We're going to 2 a week. You've asked for it. We're doing it. What days are we doing it now, Jake?
Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesdays. You will now have the Dear America podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support. I think so many people, when they get to a certain point, they stop saying that. Thank you guys for making all of this possible. Thank you guys for changing our lives. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your lives. Yep. Tell people about this podcast. Subscribe. 5 stars. David J. Harris, where can they find you?
David J. Harris Jr. on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And my website is davidharrisjr.com, where you can get the book, Why I Couldn't Stay Silent.
Awesome. Alyssa?
Alyssa Allen on Facebook and Instagram.
And Jake?
Producer_Jake on Instagram.
And I am Graham Allen. You can find me pretty much anywhere. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Dear America podcast. And we will see you again next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.